is mainly solving puzzles. Basically, 5 points. 5 points. Is black pawns are advanced. Basically, first check. Either I have to move the king or I have to block it or kill it. So, kill is always the king. Takes, check. Seems like the best move here for me because as I take king h1, then he can defend his square playing c1. So try queen taking bishop feels right for me. Queen takes bishop, pawn takes bishop, knight f6 check, king g7. Uh, almost a mating attack for me. She completely missed. Let's go to the basics. Bishop takes, rook takes, rook takes, rook takes, check. Yeah, it's checkmate. So bishop into g2 is not the right answer. Is there any way I could block this? No. Queen into E8. We need to E8. Rook into E8. Rook into E8. Queen H. These are all kind of force. Right. Queen into E8. Bishop E8. Queen into E7. Threatening this. No, this won't work. Fine. We have to take this one. Check. Given up like queen for 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pawn down position. I'm giving up the queen for I'm giving up the queen for 2 rookes. It's actually a good move. No, this is a critical. Okay, I'll take up. Oh, that is protected. Fine. Rook into knight into d4. Don't play. So this is attempting now to mate checkmate. Yeah. Yeah. Why am I highlight checkmate? No way. No way. Yeah. No, can't win. It's powerful. Queen into f3. It's not immediate checkmate for white. Okay, this is a fairly obvious big moves here. But let's make this important. Probably I'll go here. Threatening a knight here. Yeah. Queen. Queen into f2. King h1. It's forced. Rook b2. Can't even threaten now. I think this is it. We are ready. And then this. Now he stops with the knight. Knight f1 then this pawn. So wouldn't stop. hardware of AI. So I should clear from group C platinum. It is kind of oh nice. Look into C2. Just threatening 81. Yes, started. Ready. When I play this, threatening this back. He has to run away here. He run away is there. He loves the knight. Nice. Yeah. In this position we have 4 pawns versus 4 pawns. 4 pawns versus 1. 4 pawns versus 5 pawns. Okay. Material down. Knight versus rook, but I'm a pawn. Technically, it's a minus 1 position. And in this position, rook is I support here. Something this idea is to support the square, which wasn't really possible. Yeah, I am he was also threatening a mate from here. He's threatening me a mate. Next he takes this. He takes this. I go here. It's bad. It's bad. Okay, next he given checks. Okay, how can I give him a check? If I don't give him a check, the next move is forced on me. So this move has to be a check. So obviously it is rook d6, knight, queen d6. Queen d6 check. Queen d6 check, and the king has to move forward. The king moves here. I cannot allow like this. Knight check. King can move here. Okay, he's blocking the rook. Yeah, this is a bit tough. Yeah, he need to keep the king away from the square. Okay. First move has to be a check. So let me see. Where does this king go? Because let me see what does he play. Because if I take a knight, it's mate. Okay. Let me think from the perspective of black. I give him a check, which is the best possible square for him to go. Okay, this row is completely blocked. He can go here, here, and here. These are the three possibilities. Then, okay, if he goes here, he can go to the free positions. I'm unable to calculate. Okay, let me calculate this one. Okay, if he goes here, this seems obvious. Queen into this. Check. Then again, he has only two chances. He has only one square to move, which is this. So this is technically eliminated. He has only these two squares. So because if he goes to this way, I have this check, because of which he has only this one square for him to move. Really not a problem. Choose here. I give him a check. He takes this. That is bad. Game I have to give a check. Check is mandatory. How many eyes can I give in a check? If I want to check the same story. He gives me a check first, I go here and sign. Again check. Again go here, I can go there. These are the two ways which I can give him check. This I can go here. These are the three possibilities. This is obviously a dumb move because I'm moving my queen. So this move is now correct. So I need to go to here or there. If I go here, I'm also attacking my king. And if he comes here, I will take. So he have to go here. If he goes there, I will give a check here. Then he has to go there or shit. Complete కాదు తర్వాత మూవ్ చేయాలి పెడతాను అది కూడా కాదు రెండు కాదు queens eggs I can't stop it I have to give you a check not this where should I take it it is not this oh I didn't even consider this one queen to f8 yes shit okay don't move in a hurry yeah unnecessarily I lost 15 points okay my knight is pinned oh I have to move my knight because okay, 5 points versus 5 points, 2 bishops, rook versus bishop, knight versus rook. I'm moving knight away, I'm doing multiple things. First, I'm attacking this bishop to attack so that to favor if rook needs to be this. I'm also attacking this piece. So this has to move the next move. As soon as I move here, this will move somewhere. Okay. Knight, knight moves to f3, knight f3. Simply simply Knight f3, bishop into, king into, rook, seems like the black is the one who is pressing. Not a good way. By going for knight e2, I'm attacking his knight and this multiple attack. He is best friend. Yeah, I'm attacking like this as well. Knight e2, I'm attacking this as well as this. So obviously he need to save his rook. So as he need to save his rook, he might just come here. Yeah, attacking my knight. Right. Knight e2, rook c2. What is your defense? He's asking me. If you take this, I will take this. Maybe I'll take this. Hmm. It is not as easy as I thought. But knight e2 is the first move. I'm pretty sure about it because knight e2 gives me the idea. Knight e2, rook c2. In this position, after knight e2, rook c2. ఆ చూపుల నల్ల తొక్కుకు వెళ్ళకు దయలేదా అసలు.
55. بالضبط. تفضل. Traffic. Rank.
Rank 9. అన్నయ్య అని ఆప్యాయంగా పిలిచే తమ్ముడు.
अगर बाकी कुछ बड़ा करना चाहते हैं बहुत ज्यादा मेरे पास
And when he didn't, he told him.
There we go. And by
Now,
the way,
count 'em.
I'll be doing the umpiring as well.
I want you to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4.
आप
स्वागत है आपका भारत के कर्तव्य पथ पर। आजादी के 75 साल बाद गुलामी की याद दिलाते राजपथ और सेंट्रल विस्टा जैसे नामों से देश मुक्त हुआ। आधुनिक भारत, आत्मनिर्भर भारत का प्रतीक कर्तव्य पथ। इंडिया गेट से राष्ट्रपति भवन और नए संसद भवन की ओर ये कर्तव्य पथ प्रतिबिंब है विश्व पटल पर अपनी नई पहचान बनाते, तेजी से विकास करते नए भारत का। प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी के विजन से विकसित ये क्षेत्र विश्व मानचित्र पर भारत की अमिट छाप छोड़ता है। ये आजादी के अमृत काल में देश को समर्पित एक बेमिसाल सौगात है। गुलामी की जंजीरों में जकड़ा हुआ यह क्षेत्र सेंट्रल विस्टा के नाम से 13 फरवरी 1931 को देश को मिला था। स्वतंत्रता के 75 साल में इसका स्वरूप तो बदला, लेकिन 2022 के भारत के अनुरूप इसमें कुछ अहम बदलाव जरूरी थे। इसके पुराने स्वरूप में मौजूद गुलामी की याद दिलाते अवशेषों से अमृत काल में मुक्ति जरूरी थी। वहीं शौचालय, पार्किंग, अंडरपास जैसी सुविधाएं दिव्यांग जनों के लिए इस पथ परिसर को सुगम और समावेशी बनाने की आवश्यकता भी थी। इंडिया गेट और कर्तव्य पथ पर पर्यटकों को अब 101 एकड़ का ग्रीन लॉन इसकी खूबसूरती बढ़ाता दिखेगा। कर्तव्य पथ और नहर के किनारे नया 16.5 किलोमीटर का ग्रेनाइट वॉकवे डेवलप किया गया है। पहले की पुरानी व्यवस्थाओं को दुरुस्त करते हुए पेड़ों के साथ एवेन्यू का कायाकल्प यहां आने वालों के लिए एक अद्भुत अनुभव है। कर्तव्य पथ की भव्यता को और दिव्य रूप दिया। खूबसूरत 1000 से ज्यादा बोलार्ड्स, 900 से ज्यादा मॉडर्न लाइट पोल्स और 650 से ज्यादा स्मार्ट साइनेजेस ने कर्तव्य पथ से जुड़ने वाली सड़कों पर 4 नए अंडरपास का निर्माण किया गया है, जिससे पैदल घूमना सुविधाजनक और सुरक्षित होगा। नया पार्किंग एरिया डेवलप किया गया है। 8 नए वेंडिंग प्लाजा जोन बनाए गए हैं, जहां नए कलेवर में दुकानें सजेंगी। महिलाओं, बच्चों, बुजुर्गों और दिव्यांगों के लिए विशेष सीटिंग और शौचालयों की व्यवस्था है। 16 नए ब्रिज, 19 एकड़ के नहर क्षेत्र का सौंदर्यीकरण किया गया है। इंडिया गेट पर सांस्कृतिक कार्यक्रम और नृत्य समारोहों के लिए 2 ब्रिज और 2 स्टेप गार्डन की सुविधा भी उपलब्ध कराई गई है। प्रकृति संरक्षण और आधुनिकता का संतुलन बनाते हुए दुनिया के सबसे बड़े लोकतंत्र से पूरे विश्व को कर्तव्य पथ हमारी गरिमामयी विरासत के साथ आधुनिक सशक्त और समृद्ध भारतवर्ष का संदेश दे रहा है। सूर्योदय इसकी भव्यता को दिखाता है और शाम होते ही कर्तव्य पथ स्पेशल लाइटिंग से जगमगा उठता है। इतिहास के अनमोल पल अपने में समेटे ये कर्तव्य पथ अब नए भारत की नई अंगड़ाई है। प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी का ये विजन भारत के अमृत काल का प्रतिबिंब है।
छत्रपति वीर शिवाजी महाराज ने इस समुद्री सामर्थ्य के दम पर ऐसी नौसेना का निर्माण किया, दुश्मनों की नींद उड़ाकर रखी।
आज नेवी का निशान भी कॉलोनियल इरा की निशानी से मुक्त हो गया। शिवाजी महाराज का पूरा जीवन अदम्य साहस से भरा हुआ था। उन्होंने आजीवन मुगलों से संघर्ष किया और अपनी कुशल युद्ध नीति से उनके छक्के छुड़ा दिए। तब शिवाजी की नौसेना में 5000 जवान थे, करीब 60 जंगी जहाज थे।
यहाँ अगर औरंगजेब आता है तो शिवाजी भी उठ खड़े होते हैं।
Hi everybody, on 2nd of September 2022, the Prime Minister of India unveiled the new naval flag on INS Vikrant. And this flag bears the seal of the legendary Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj himself. Why? Because Chhatrapati built one of the most extraordinary naval fleets in Indian history. And this navy was so powerful that it sent jitters down the spines of the Brits and Portuguese who were trying to control our coastline since the 17th century itself. And legends have it that had it not been for Chhatrapati, we would have been looted by the Brits for another 200 years extra. So if you're deeply curious and fascinated by the case study of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, let's go deep down and try to understand what was so special about Chhatrapati's naval strategy that he's being honored even after 340 years of his existence. How did he lay the foundations for the powerful Maratha Empire? And most importantly, as students of business, what are the lessons that we need to learn from this legendary king of India? This video is brought to you by Kuku FM, but more on this at the end of the video. To understand the vision of Chhatrapati, let's go back to 1650s India. Back then, Chhatrapati had just taken his oath of Swaraj in 1646, and the Marathas had a very small region in their control. But like I told you in the previous episode, if you look at the map of India, you will see that the Dutch, Portuguese, and Brits had already started approaching the coastlines of India. As you can see, Daman and Diu was under Portuguese, Bombay and Madras were with the Brits, and Pulikat was with the Dutch. And you know, every time I heard that these Brits and Dutch were coming into India, I always wondered, how did it not bother the rulers? Now, whether you were the Mughals, Nizams, or the Rajputs, isn't it strange that these foreigners were minting money at the king's backyard, and yet they were not bothered by these traders? And strangely so, if you look at Indian history, very few kings have actually built a powerful navy in spite of having the most valuable commodities to trade. The question is, why? Well, that is because most of the kingdoms in India were land-based units. As in, the rulers always considered themselves rulers of a piece of land and not over the seas. This led to a rigid definition of kingdom where expanding and defending land boundaries was given the greatest of importance. And it's not just us. Even the Khiljis and Mughals did not take the navy seriously. This was because, if you look at their origins, the Turks and Mughals actually came from regions that were mostly landlocked. As in, they did not have a sea in close proximity. And before the Central Asians stepped in Hinduism, there was a strange taboo that stated that crossing the seas to foreign lands causes the loss of social respectability and cultural character. So obviously, the sea coast was ignored as a maritime frontier. This is the reason why the rulers, including the giant Mughals, did not take the entry of the Europeans seriously. By the way, the exceptions over here are the Pallavas, Cholas, and Tipu Sultan, who built incredible navies. I'll make separate episodes on them later, but for now, in the 17th century, there were barely any kings who had a strong naval fleet. But this is why, ladies and gentlemen, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj's extraordinary foresight of having a naval fleet came in. Now you see, in the 1650s, Chhatrapati did not have vast lands or hundreds of forts under him. The Maratha kingdom was still in its initial stages, and Chhatrapati was just a little boy in his 20s. But what's absolutely stunning is that he did not have a fraction of the exposure that the Mughals had. While the Mughals had ministers and advisors to bank on, Shiva grew up with village boys in difficult rugged terrains of the Sahyadri and Deccan. But even then, somehow he had the foresight to understand the importance of navy. The question is, how is that even possible? Well, as it turns out, Chhatrapati was an ardent student of geography, and from the beginning itself, back when we did not have sophisticated maps and contour drawings, he was sharp enough to understand the nature of deep valleys, hilltops, narrow plateaus, and rivers. And due to this keen interest in geography, he had prepared detailed maps of many regions of India. In fact, whenever any foreigner visited him, Razi used to talk to him and understand the trends, economics, and geography of the foreign lands. And through these countless conversations that he had with these traders and people from different regions, Chhatrapati realized that there was something very, very important happening in the oceans with the ships. So after consolidating his position in Deccan, Razi set his eyes on the coastal waters of Konkan. For those who don't know, the Konkan region of India is this region that extends throughout the western coast of Maharashtra, Goa, and Karnataka. It is bounded by the Western Ghats in the east, the Arabian Sea in the west, and the Daman-Ganga river in the north. And this region was extremely important to Chhatrapati for three specific reasons. Number one, from the geographic standpoint, Chhatrapati was ruling over an unproductive rain-shadowed tract of Deccan. So to feed his army, he needed control over the productive regions stations of Konkan. Number two, Konkan was a trade link for important commodities. So these items used to be transported to Deccan via the passes in the Ghats. So from the trade standpoint, control over Konkan and the connecting routes were absolutely necessary for a stable trade revenue. And thirdly, from the security standpoint, even if Chhatrapati occupied vast territories in the Deccan, if the enemy saw him as a major threat, they could surround the entire area, cut all the food supplies, and starve the entire kingdom into submission. But if he had command over the seas, he could get an abundant supply from the ports of the south, even if the land routes of the country were completely blocked. And lastly, Chhatrapati saw the colonizing motives of the foreigners way before any other king in India. Now, I don't know if you realize this, but then for a boy in his 20s who grew up with village boys during a time when there was no newspaper, internet, or encyclopedia, the foresight of colonizing is nothing short of extraordinary. These were the reasons why he started his quest for the Konkan coast. But back then, although it fell in the Mughal territory, it was occupied by the Portuguese. So firstly, since the Marathas were an expert in mountain terrain, they quickly took control of the 8 vital passes that traverse the Ghats from the interior to the Konkan coast. Apart from that, a part of Kalyan was also brought under his control. Now, as far as I could find, there isn't much known about how exactly did Chhatrapati conquer the Konkan regions. But from what we know until now, the possible reasons are the loose control of the Mughals over the coast because of their ignorance of the naval fleet and the oceans. And secondly, the Marathas constantly raided the Portuguese territories. So since the Portuguese were terrible on land and mountains, it became very difficult for them to control the Marathas. So by 1660s, South Konkan came under Raje, and soon enough, the entire Konkan came into his hands with an agreement that he made with the Mughals. This is when Chhatrapati went ahead with building his naval fleet. And now, he had 3 major challenges in front of him. Firstly, before Chhatrapati, only the Cholas had the expertise to build the naval fleet. So although he had the territories, he now needed skilled engineers for the task. Secondly, the funding of the kingdom was not enough to create a big and powerful naval fleet. And thirdly, someone actually had to strategize the sea frontiers in the most efficient manner to defend against any kind of invasion. So to tackle the first challenge, Chhatrapati got the European engineers themselves to design his ships. Now the question we hear is, Chhatrapati was taking the territories from the Europeans, right? Then how did these European engineers actually help Chhatrapati? Well, this is where you have to understand the nature of the European traders back then. You see, back then they knew for a fact that if they positioned themselves as invaders and attacked Chhatrapati, they would lose hold over their trade. So they cleverly masqueraded themselves as traders who traded with anyone who was in power. In fact, in this book by Ranjit Desai, there's actually a scene where, after the conquest of a particular region, the very same Europeans who supplied cannons to the opposition had the audacity to stand in front of Raje and offer him gifts for winning the exact same battle. So Raje took advantage of their cunningness and forced them to build the ships for the Marathas. Along with that, he even sent his trusted soldiers to secretly learn the shipbuilding techniques so that he could build his own naval fleet. Secondly, for the funds, the Marathas constantly raided the richest regions around Konkan. Classic example was the city of Surat, which was by far the richest city in the country. So as and when needed, the Marathas conducted a blitzkrieg operation whereby they would come out of nowhere, take the gold and valuables and move out without harming the common people. And lastly, the building of the navy and forts was done by some phenomenal architects, and Chhatrapati himself oversaw its construction. And what started as a small fleet with 10 to 15 ships then expanded over the next 15 years to a full-fledged flotilla of 350 ships. To give you a glimpse of the same, one of the most marvelous structures is the sea fort called the Sindhu Durg, which was the main Maratha headquarters to prepare for wars and battles. With almost 100 architects and a manpower of 3,000, it took 3 years to build, is spread over an area of 48 acres and has 32 towers. And what blew my mind is that this magnificent fort has an underwater passage. Yes, an underwater passage was constructed in the 17th century. It starts from one of these temples that looks like a water reservoir, goes under the fort beneath the sea, and opens up 12 freaking kilometers away into a nearby village. Furthermore, the Marathas built, rebuilt and captured important forts like Swarnadurg, Vijayadurg and Padmadurg, eventually conquering a large portion of Konkan and beyond. Secondly, they even mastered the art of shipbuilding, classic examples being an iconic warship named Sangameshwari. This warship was designed such that it could crawl through the shallow waters. So while the much bigger British ships had to remain in the deep sea, Sangameshwari could get very, very close to the shores. As a result, the Maratha army could quickly attack the Brits and get away. And the Brits were so annoyed at the Maratha warships that after their defeat in 1679, the British governor wrote to the East India Company Trust saying, he, as in Chhatrapati, has ships that can go where we cannot go. So you can imagine the foresight and craftsmanship that they had. Chhatrapati has ships get away. And the Brits were so annoyed at the Maratha warships that after their defeat in 1679, the British governor wrote to the East India Company Trust saying, he, as in Chhatrapati, has ships that can go where we cannot go. So you can imagine the foresight and craftsmanship that they had. And lastly, by strategically conquering the forts and locations, Chhatrapati established 3 lines of defense which kept the Maratha kingdom well protected. The first line of defense extended from the Asheri fort in the northwest to Vishalgarh in the south and passed through Purandar. This was at the core of Chhatrapati's kingdom. The second line of defense passed through Konkan, incorporating forts like Sindhudurg, Padmadurg, Vijayadurg and Swarnadurg. Both these defense lines established by Chhatrapati even helped the Peshwas. After his coronation, the third line of defense was built from Vishalgarh to Jinji in Tamil Nadu. This line enabled swift military operation between Raigad and Jinji. This is how Chhatrapati laid out an intricate framework of defense for the Maratha Empire to prosper, and eventually, these foundations kept the foreigners away for almost 2 centuries. This is one of the many reasons why Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj is considered to be one of the greatest kings in Indian history. And this brings me to the most important part of the episode, and that are the business lessons that we need to learn from this iconic story of the legendary Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Meanwhile, if you're someone who wants to know more about Chhatrapati and the Maratha Empire, you can listen to audio shows on Chhatrapati on the Kuku FM app. Kuku FM is India's leading vernacular audio learning platform with over 1,000 plus hours of content library, with 4.5 plus rating and a huge library of non-fiction content. In this case, you could listen to the Maratha Empire show and a show named Chhatrapati Shivaji Ke Management Sutra. So if these kind of subjects intrigue you, then go ahead and download the Kuku FM app from the link in the description and use the code THINK50 to get a 50% discount on the subscription fees. And this is applicable only for the first 250 users, so go ahead and download the Kuku FM app now. Moving on, the first lesson that we need to learn from Chhatrapati is to never ever be the prisoner of your own mind. In this case, we saw very clearly how the Mughals never took the navy seriously, and our rulers in the 17th century didn't consider it bound by a baseless myth. But Chhatrapati never ever curbed his knowledge or foresight to either of them and ended up laying the foundations of one of the greatest empires in Indian history. Lesson number
Starlight, star bright. First. Star I see tonight.
Sprinting in 2 slips.
And I think the reason why he's kept that much grass is there's so much cricket being played here over the last couple of weeks. So there's wear and tear on the square, so there would have been enough preparation done. It has nice even spread of grass, whitish look to it, which clearly suggests it will encourage stroke play once the ball gets a little older and will last the duration of the game.
Credit to the groundsman. I reckon he made incredible pitches in this PSL. Beg your pardon, in this Asia Cup. That's the beauty of Pakistani fast bowlers. And look at this second delivery, 144 kilometers an hour. And Sri Lanka, unchanged from the previous game. Pakistan won the toss and elected to field first.
I thought the inclusion of Dhananjaya De Silva gave Sri Lanka in that match 2 days ago just a little bit of a boost, the way he was able to bowl his 4 overs, come in and take away some of the heat from the quicks. And so therefore it was a bit of an addition.
And you'll see, if he lasts there, he has time to play the quicks.
Beautiful through the covers. The balance was excellent. The first boundary of the Asia Cup final.
That's what I mean. Now that last delivery is at 145, but he's in no hurry whatsoever. Look at the shape, look at the balance, look at the poise. And look at the execution as it disappears to the boundary. This is quality shot. Quick delivery. Beautifully played.
A stunning shot from De Silva. Usually a bowler with this pace, you as a batsman go slightly on a back foot, but he was right on the front foot waiting for this kind of delivery. He was slightly wide from Hasnan and he took full advantage of it. Now slip in a deep gully.
It was there to be hit as well, short and wide.
Few matches there, but Scotty plus Ravi Shastri equals Wasima.
On a good day.
I may need a third guy here. May need a few more additions.
Yes, there was definitely a noise. The umpire signals wide. Was off the pad, or was it the batsman just clipping the pad himself? They'll have a discussion, but I don't think they'll seriously consider going upstairs.
I heard the noise. I think it was the pad, but we'll have a look at a replay now. Decision has been made. Let's have a look. Wanted the magic delivery. Yeah, there was a big thigh guard. Come on, guys.
Top. Same zone as the first boundary. This is a good fight back from Sri Lanka.
Good counter-attack, 2 quality shots. There's absolutely no intentions here to keep the ball down. If you look at the balance when he's playing this shot, he's always looking to go over the infield.
Little punch. Purposely played short, but for Hasnan, I think he's bowling too full. If you got pace, just take them out, bowl 1 or 2 short deliveries, put them on a back foot, and then come back and bowl slightly fuller delivery.
Yeah, I know many fast bowlers who, after being cover-driven twice off the front foot, will end up with one around the ears. They're coming back for 2, but they make it comfortably. What a big over that is. It is 16 for 1.
टिकट अरे यार लगता है भूल गए होंगे
वही तो सर, भूल गया। मैच आ रहा है और ड्रीम 11 पे टीम बनानी थी। हाँ सर, ठीक है।
भूल मत जाना, ड्रीम 11 पे टीम बनाना। मेक योर टीम नाउ।
इस खेल में आदत लगना या आर्थिक जोखिम संभव है। जिम्मेदारी से खेलें।
Hey, have you done the digit?
Problem? No problem. No business problem is big enough if you learn how to solve it using data.
Swing we saw in the first over.
Yes, there was the other one.
Plenty of fan pulses throughout this match. fanpulse.in/English. Who will win the DP World Asia Cup 2022? So far, 3/4 of you think Pakistan. Agree with that?
Got to do with the toss as well. Pakistan won the toss, and I think that's why all the fans, the people all around the world think that Pakistan have 75% chance. Now it's 77, but Sri Lanka started off well after their first wicket. Couple of boundaries in the second over.
Oh, it's a big shot. It's got to be a bit close. Just sliding. Rizwan signalling down the leg side. The way the batsman fell over, always reckon when the ball goes to the offside, it's close.
Looked very close from 120 meters where we are sitting. From here, but it wasn't front on camera. We'll have a look in the replay now. Rizwan set down leg side, and Rizwan was spot on.
Yes, good decision from Anil Chaudhary. That would have drifted down the leg side. He's been around for a while.
Another cover drive from Sri Lanka. Nisanka this time. Good fight back continues.
Anything in their range up to now, they've had a go at it with total intent, which is good to see.
That's the beauty of Sri Lankan cricket, especially this team, this young team. They will play their game. Doesn't matter if they lose wicket or two, they're not going to stop. And what we have noticed nowadays in T20 format, first over swings, and then the second over, if you hit for one or two boundaries, after that everything is straight. And then as a bowler, you got to be precise, back of a length within the stumps.
Oh, close. That would have been close as well. All happening in the middle.
Could have so easily gone back into the stumps, just bouncing away.
Slip comes back for Dhananjaya De Silva. Work for Haris Rauf.
Quick Haris Rauf, a very safe fielder. We haven't seen any short pitch delivery yet from the Pakistani bowlers, Shazzy.
Yeah, a little surprising. Don't you worry, Haris Rauf, when he gets the ball, will test the pitch. You see, very quickly it changes. The first 4 or 5 overs crucial, another couple of boundaries, good overs. At 28 could become 38 or 40 very quickly. On the other hand, a wicket in that period will shift the balance.
I'm with you, Waz. I'm surprised that there hasn't been one just to push the weight of the batsman back, get him thinking about the short one at pace. This time the edge will have Haris Rauf working to his left. 7 runs from the over, 23 for 1.
पिंटू बेटे बेचारा क्यों भूल गया?
अरे याद आ गया, मैं चाह रहा हूँ मैं ड्रीम 11 पे टीम बनाना भूल गया था पम्मी आंटी।
भूल मत जाना, ड्रीम 11 पे टीम बनाना। मेक योर टीम नाउ।
इस खेल में आदत लगना या आर्थिक जोखिम संभव है। जिम्मेदारी से खेलें।
ब्रेकअप्स होते रहते हैं।
It's not him. It's the laptop screen.
तो तू लैपटॉप से ब्रेकअप कर दे। Try HP Pavilion.
With iSafe certified display. Now with 12 Gen Intel Core processors and Alexa built in.
He come out with a short one.
He is the go-to bowler for Pakistan from last year or so. He bowls 1 over in first 6, 1 or 2 at the most depending on the situation. Then he bowls when the partnership is building up in between 14th, 12th or 15th, and then the last 2 overs. And he has been excellent with his performance, that's for sure, and consistent. Aris running in, one slip in place.
Yes, it's nicely set up, this game. Early wicket, then a flurry of boundaries.
So then people back home criticize Haris Rauf's average and his economy rate. But they don't realize he bowls, whenever he bowls for Pakistan, when Pakistan needs a wicket. And in the last 2 overs, say 18th or 20th or 19th or 17th. And for that, I think it's a very good average.
He might go for runs, but it's the frequency of his wickets as well. Better than a wicket a game, too. Timing, where's the timing? Madoff is trying to get under it. Good catch. You said that he picks up wickets. He's done it again, Ralph.
Excellent running catch. He has a knack of doing exactly what he's done, and invariably in his first over, making an impact. So this is an important wicket. Nissanka, the man dismissed. Babar Azam was the man running behind. Not quite getting hold of it. Again, aggressive intentions, but not coming off right.
Pakistan go-to bowler gets a wicket under pressure. Haris Rauf, and look at the spike, the good catch by the skipper at mid-off. A running catch. The man with the golden arm, Haris Rauf. Nishanka departs for 8, Pakistan. Doing well here, 23 for 2 Sri Lanka.
सुन, इक्विटी में इन्वेस्ट कर, ग्रोथ का है चांस। सुन, डेट में है लो रिस्क, बात मेरी मान।
अरे बेटा सुन, गोल्ड सिर्फ गोल्ड, भैया ने भी यही किया।
सुन, अब तू कंफ्यूज मत कर यार। अरे मतलब सुन, सबकी कर मल्टी मतलब मल्टी एसेट एलोकेशन फंड्स, यानी 3-in-1 फंड। ये इक्विटी, डेट, गोल्ड तीनों में एक साथ इन्वेस्ट करें। म्यूचुअल फंड निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। योजना से जुड़े सभी दस्तावेज ध्यान पूर्वक पढ़ें।
Problem? No problem. No business problem is big enough if you learn how to solve it using data. Data science program from Scalar.
Long way back. And if you watch the swing of the bat from Nissanka, it's almost going towards long on and hits the outside half. Not quite straight enough. It's out towards we are now. Outside half of the bat, no timing. Good catch running back too from the skipper. The goal for Pakistan, get one more on the power play.
And well, so far Pakistan got 2 important wickets in the power play.
Good swing and pace.
What's good to see is his attitude, as Ralph. He wants wickets. You know, he believes his role is to take wickets, bowl at pace. I mean, it's a great story. He came and bowled in our nets, as in 2019 in Australia when India were touring. He came and bowled in Sydney, I think in Brisbane as well, and was sharp. Was very sharp. But then to see him 2 years later, playing for Pakistan, performing, great story.
And even more interesting story how he got picked up. It's Lahore Qalandar's summer camp. He came without the spikes, and Aqib Javed and the owners of Lahore Qalandar, they bought him spikes, and from there onwards, they paid for him to go to Australia. Play some league cricket, and now he's one of the premier bowlers of world cricket. So well done, Lahore Qalandars.
150 kilometres an hour. There's a lot to like about this Sri Lankan batting unit, especially Shanaka and Rajapaksa coming in next. They have controlled say overs 10 to 20 really well for Sri Lanka.
But this is a different scenario, different situation. They were chasing before, now they are batting first at the 2 wickets down. We're into 4th over, only 23 runs on the board.
Wow, look at that. That is pure timing and pure class.
Mentioned earlier, he's got time. This is quality. He's played 2 stunning shots of the front foot through the covers, one through the covers, one over it. Just again, great balance, great hands.
It was the quickest delivery so far in this game. Over 150 kilometers an hour, 151 to be exact. And he made it look so easy. Shifted his weight.
Tell me, a bouncer now, or you're still pitching it up?
Last ball, got a wicket, given away 4 runs. I'll just bowl length.
Back of a length and tucked into the leg side. Successful, though, for Pakistan. 28 for 2.
कोशिश के पहले हार मत. सामने कौन है सोच मत. सफलता की चाह रख, खेल जा. संग कोई चले या ना चले, अगर मंजिल तय है तो खेल जा. फेयर प्ले न्यूज. खेल जा. इन खेलों में भाग लेने के लिए कोई प्रवेश शुल्क नहीं है.
Being a parent means keeping them at a safe screen distance. The Lenovo P12 Pro Tab has a distance reminder that prevents you from getting too close to the screen. So, get a Lenovo Tab and no more keeping tabs.
But won the toss, Pakistan did, and the start that they've got. Now, Pakistan strong favourites. A lot hinges on Dhananjaya de Silva, brought into the side in place of Charita Sri Lanka to bring maybe some kind of solidity in the batting order. Now, this is one of those instances, Russell, where you need some test match credentials to just play out a phase in T20 cricket.
Yeah, Sri Lanka had poor form in the tournament, and hence Dhananjaya de Silva came in the last game. Up at 3 because he handles faster bowling. The reason you're mentioning, that's what's required at this stage. But 160, 165, if you can get there, you give yourself a chance. That's what Sri Lanka should aim at. You try to get 200, you might lose your way. Get there, see how things go. Maybe the rest can be bonus.
Big wigs are here. Saurav there in the forefront. President of the Bangladesh Cricket Board. To his right, behind Saurav, of course, another familiar face. Because Ramiz and Saurav, former captains of their respective national sides, and now holding important positions in administration. What a shot that is. Was in the air for a while, but that has to be called as an exceptional shot.
He looks so good. Very easy on the eyes. He was on the up. No real feet movement. Making sure that if he plays in the air, he goes through the gap. Sri Lanka is up for it. They're not really holding back. They lost 2 wickets. There is no time wasting out there. They're putting Pakistan under pressure every delivery.
Yeah, back on track, you'd say, in terms of the run rate. Get a partnership going. Get through the quick bowlers. Bhanuka Rajapaksa, Dasun Shanaka come to it. Just lot been made about the toss. A lot of teams winning the toss have gone on to win. But from Sri Lanka's point of view, get the runs on the board. Give yourself a chance.
It's something that most teams, to be fair, have struggled in this Asia Cup, even on this ground. Nobody has gone and easily got over 210, 220 consistently.
It's a lot to do with mentality, I feel, because there's not a lot of due. No real change to hamper the fielding team. There was a single there.
A lot will depend on Gunathilka also, because he hasn't really come to the party. The 4 beautiful boundaries by De Silva. It's nice and easy. Timing was just so superb. And this was a beauty. Sri Lanka didn't play him initially. And then when they brought him back, he looked $1 million. Bowls a bit. He bowls beautifully in the previous game against Pakistan. Big edge.
Ball's coming on nicely onto the bat. Oh, extra runs. The fielder hurt there. Seems like it. 5 overs gone. 36 for 2.
शोना भूले तो नहीं आज का स्पेशल दिन?
अरे याद आ गया, मैच आ रहा है, ड्रीम 11 पे टीम बनानी है। ये कैसे भूल गया?
भूल मत जाना, ड्रीम 11 पे टीम बनाना। मेक योर टीम नाउ।
इस खेल में आदत लगना या आर्थिक जोखिम संभव है। जिम्मेदारी से खेलें।
महंगाई की है खाए, दिवाली नहीं आए दिवाली।
रियल मी लाया है 700 करोड़ के ऑफर्स। इस साल रियल में होगी दिवाली। रियल में
दिवाली है, रियल में दिवाली।
I think it'll be just a small cut. And I feel, because they're putting a towel there, they just see a little bit of blood there.
They'll also have to go through the protocols these days. Head injury assessment.
That was more the ear, right? So does that apply? Maybe it does. But that slow motion replay that we saw, clearly you could see the ball went on to hit him on the ear. And that's why we're seeing blood. It's a minor cut, you would think. Turkish came to support.
He's up. We don't care where anyone's from. All we want is the support for the game.
Sri Lanka team unchanged today. Did they think of Asita Fernando for this game, or he wasn't in the scheme at all? Pramoda Madhushan retains his place.
Yeah, Sri Lanka unchanged. I don't see any reason to go back to Asita Fernando. He gave him a run, but Madhushan, everything to like about him. His effort the other day, and thoroughly deserves his place for this game.
Slightly short of runs. Gunathilaka. The others have got a few innings in, and that's what makes Sri Lanka such a dangerous side, because they all come and express themselves. They play with the same template that India played with. Come in and straight away look for runs.
I like the captaincy here from Babar, giving Haris Rauf another go. He's already bowled 1 over in the power play, and normally he only bowls 1 over in the power play. He's a go-to man.
Bowled! What a delivery! Great call from Wakaria as well. Good captaincy, good commentary. It's all set up nicely.
Yeah, what a delivery. And that's the reason why Babar asked him to come and bowl another one. One of the best deliveries you'll see in this tournament. You saw earlier Naseem hitting the stumps, and watch that to the left-hander. Good seam position, pitching in, coming back, hitting the middle stump. Wow! Well done, Babar. That's good captaincy and a good delivery.
151 Ks. Haris Rauf. Gunathilaka gone for 1. Sri Lanka 36 for 3.
ब्रेकअप्स होते रहते हैं. It's not him. It's the laptop screen. तू लैपटॉप से ब्रेकअप कर दे. Try HP Pavilion.
With iSafe certified display. Now with 12 Gen Intel Core processors and Alexa built in.
विथ डिजिट्स कार इंश्योरेंस अगर आपकी कार चलती है कम तो प्रीमियम भी कम.
Hey, have you done the digit?
Marco Rajapaksa is the new batsman. He'll be tested with his extra pace. But that's the attitude Pakistan bring to the game. They're always searching for wickets, always looking for those glory balls. That's why they're able to produce it as well.
We saw some glimpse in the previous match also from the faster bowlers of Pakistan. They didn't have many runs to play with, but the first 3-4 overs were outstanding. They came really hard at Sri Lanka, and they're doing the same again. They're not really worried about giving runs. All they're worried about is picking out wickets, and that's what this man is looking to do. What a delivery once again. This might go for 4, but I don't think he should feel bad about it.
It's his pace that gave no one a chance in the field. Again, a good first ball to bowl to. Up to 153, so he's cranking it up. He's bowling it in right areas as well. No breathing space for the batsman.
When is the last time we saw a ball be bowled at that speed? 152.9.
Babar unhappy with third man, but he had no chance. That was going quickly, so maybe just getting finer. Out of the Sri Lankan batsman, only De Silva seems to have come to terms with the pace. The others have all struggled.
Oh, another good delivery. It's very full. There was some swing as well, and the pace 145.
It's a little bit more humid this evening. You see a lot of guys, a lot of players out there sweating a lot. More sweating, more humid means the ball will swing a little bit more. And that's what we're seeing at the moment. Pitch is really good. He's getting a movement off the pitch also because there is a grass covering on it. It suits Pakistan at the moment.
Oh, another good delivery. Hanuka Rajapaksa likes to express himself, but here, just got to be careful. This is Guna Tilaka.
Big booming drive. When someone's bowling that quickly, you've got to shorten that bat swing. Look to punch. You're giving yourself no chance. Haris Rauf is good to watch. I'll tell you that.
I guess he just thought over pitch delivery. Let me go for a drive. Let me be in a positive frame of mind. Just like you've seen Dhananjaya. There was a surprise in store. There was a late swing.
Another good delivery. Question asked. He's thinking.
And in the end, it's got to be a no. Of course, they have the option to challenge it.
I don't mind taking a review here because this is a big one. Yes, I think it's a good call. It might not be out, but I don't think they will lose the review. That's definitely hitting some part of the stumps.
TV umpire to director. It's a play review for the LBW. Original decision is not out. I checked the front foot. It's a fair delivery. Can we start it from the front on spin vision first, please? Spin vision is coming up. Stand by. Yes, go. Yes, roll back, roll forward. Yes, thank you. It's close to the bat. Just go. Please go for the ultra edge to confirm. Go for the ultra edge to confirm, please. Stand by, ultra edge is coming up. Go forward. Just can you roll it back once, please? Forward, it's a flat line. Forward, flat line, and I'm seeing gap between bat and the wall. So it's confirmed, no bat involved. Can you go for the ball tracker when it's available, please? Pitch in line, impact in line, and wicket hitting is on field call. So, original decision not out. Local, you can stand on your original decision. Stand by. You are on screen. Give the signal now.
This is when you feel as a player, oh, if you had raised the finger, umpire's call would have been out. And Shadab Khan just fooling around a little bit with the umpire. Close score.
A lot closer than I thought. But from the umpire's point of view, he's seen Harish Rauf bring the ball back into the left-hander all the time. It was very full, not a lot to go on. That would have been in the back of his mind.
He's had two terrific games, the last two games, Harish Rauf. Sunil Chaudhary standing in his 40th. Harish Rauf has got his tail up. He's got at least 30,000 fans behind him at the moment. Fielders should get around it, maybe a couple of runs here. That brings us to the end of the power play. 6 overs gone. It's 42 for 3.
कोशिश के पहले हार मत, सामने कौन है सोच मत, सफलता की चाह रख, खेल जा, संग कोई चले या ना चले, अगर मंजिल तय है तो खेल जा। फेयर प्ले न्यूज, खेल जा। इन खेलों में भाग लेने के लिए कोई प्रवेश शुल्क नहीं है।
Being a parent means wanting your child to discover, create, and grow. Google Kids Space on Lenovo tabs lets your kids explore and engage with quality content. So, get a Lenovo tab and no more keeping tabs.
Sri Lanka now have to deal with Shadab Khan, a different threat. But for me, Wakar, with these two batsmen, especially Rajapaksa, I'll go with another over of pace just to try and get that wicket.
Or they could have gone with 4 fast bowlers, 1 batter less. As a couple of us in the panel have been suggesting. Now they've gone to spin, but the advantage that Pakistan have, and it's their great strength, is that there's no respite for the batters because spin has been introduced. Shadab has been brilliant, Nawaz as well, but let's see the fitness of Shadab in the spin.
It's a quality attack. Yes, different options. You do tend to go with variety. Now there's no short boundary today. We are playing right in the center. And both sides probably 68 to 69 meters. He'll play only one way, Rajapaksa, and look to take the bowlers on.
Well, Sri Lanka will be requiring him out there for a long time. He's such a destructive batsman, Rajapaksa. How good Shadab has been in this tournament. Picked up 4 against Hong Kong, 2 against India.
Interesting shot that. Just playing a different game. He's going at a strike rate of 156, Dhananjaya.
You try to hit the top of short, extra cover. There's a big gap usually behind the fielder. There we go. Afghanistan 1 for 27. That 2 for 31 was here in Dubai. It was brilliant.
Pakistan's got to keep that pressure on the Sri Lanka. They have done the job. The pace bowlers especially picking up wickets in the first 6. They can't just sort of sit back and keep giving those easy singles, especially when you're in the circle. I think the inner fielders got to come really close.
The story of this Asia Cup has not been just about India-Pakistan to get the crowds in. Good start for Shadab. 5 singles from that over. 7 overs gone. 47 for 3.
Anisha, breakups होते रहते हैं. It's not him. It's the laptop screen. तू laptop से breakup कर दे. Rajpi Pavilion.
With iSafe certified display. Now with 12 Gen Intel Core processors and Alexa built in.
With Digits car insurance, अगर आपकी कार चलती है कम, तो प्रीमियम भी कम.
Hey, have you done the digit?
Team plays to the beat of the band.
Interesting move from Pakistan. He has hardly bowled in this tournament. Iftikhar Ahmed bowl a bit of off spin because there's a left-hander out there. They've taken this opportunity. Finds the fielder. Dhananjay is looking good on his own. 28 of 20.
Well, this is Pakistan's sixth option. Iftikhar Ahmed bowling for the first time in this tournament. Maybe second time. I think he has bowled one over previously. So this is a big ask. The pressure is on. Do you want to release that pressure? Bring in Nawaz. The reason I feel is purely because this man, Rajapaksa, take the ball away from him, Iftikhar, and that's what he's going to try to do. Bowl those off spinners.
Good delivery, but soft hands, which means they'll get 4 runs. 50 comes up. Sri Lanka at some loss.
He's giving it pace. That's why it runs off so quickly. Rajapaksa won't mind that. It just runs. It's about getting ahead. You're right. At this stage, Babar Azam feels Rajapaksa is the real threat. That's why Iftikhar. 3 in the deep on the leg side. Sweeper in the long off. 5 in the deep.
Some turn. He's pretty quick. He's coming round the wicket. The ball is turning.
Interesting power play. Great start from Pakistan. Naseem Shah in special. Bowled at a beauty. Even Saurav acknowledges that. And then a couple of beautiful shots from De Silva. It looked really good. And losing a shape there. Losing another wicket. And this was another beauty. Great spell from these Pakistani fast attack.
Haris Rauf has been so consistent.
Catch it!
Gone! Another wicket falls. And it's a set batter who's got out. Iftikhar Ahmed gets a wicket.
Well, Babar was hoping that Iftikhar will get Rajapaksa. And what he did a bigger job. De Silva gone now. A loose shot. I think he was just wanted to put Iftikhar under pressure. And look at that catch. Beautifully taken. Another one gone.
That's a brilliant catch because it was travelling. Don't expect that. Rajapaksa still there though. It's Dhananjay De Silva who's looked ever so good for those 28 runs. It's 53 for 4.
सोच मत, खुद को रोक मत, लोगों की नहीं दिल की सुन, सपनों को पंख दे और खेल जा। फेयर प्ले न्यूज, खेल जा। इन खेलों में भाग लेने के लिए कोई प्रवेश शुल्क नहीं है।
Problem? No problem. No business problem is big enough if you learn how to solve it using data. Data science program from Scalar.
Team. Just lose steam, isn't it? Look at what's happened after they've lost 3 overs, 5 and 6. 5 and 6 runs conceded in the last 2 overs. And this is a real bonus. Iftikhar getting Dhananjay De Silva out.
Yeah, and the other factor is to bring Shanaka in this early. Usually doesn't like to come in as early as this. He comes in around the 12th over and bosses the situation. Now the game plan has to change. These are the 2 strikers Sri Lanka have. Not much of a foundation.
He gets a wicket every 2 years, Iftikhar. The last one he got was 2020, Owen Morgan.
We don't really use him enough. That's the reason. Hit him a little high on the bat and The hands were in a good position. It was hit hard, taken beautifully, and the crowd's up.
They're focusing on running. Rajapaksha on the defense at the moment. But for how long? 8 overs gone, 55 for 4.
सुन, इक्विटी में इन्वेस्ट कर, ग्रोथ का है चांस।
सुन, डेट में है लो रिस्क, बात मेरी मान।
अरे बेटा सुन, गोल्ड सिर्फ गोल्ड, भैया ने भी यही किया।
सुन, अब तू कंफ्यूज मत कर यार। अरे मतलब सुन सबकी कर मल्टी मतलब मल्टी एसेट एलोकेशन फंड्स, यानी 3-in-1 फंड। ये इक्विटी, डेट, गोल्ड तीनों में एक साथ इन्वेस्ट करें। म्यूचुअल फंड निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। योजना से जुड़े सभी दस्तावेज ध्यान पूर्वक पढ़ें।
Very same ground, and they're in control at the moment.
Different mental approach tonight from Pakistan. I think you can see that there's a lot more intensity to the way they're playing their cricket. They looked sloppy on Friday in that last game. It's a quick googly. It's a good way to get the partnership going, though, running between the wickets. But the reason why Sri Lanka in this problematic position is because of the job of the fast bowlers. It has not been easy, and that tells a story. The last match against Sri Lanka, where they did bowl well anyway, they have been able to find more swing tonight. Naseem with that first wicket, Hussain, who is such a big player for Sri Lanka's top order, getting that beautiful in-swinging delivery. And I think that's been the impressive part, Waqar, about Pakistan's fast bowlers. It's not just pace, but it's been the swing that has gone with it. And top players can handle pace okay, but it's when it swings as well that it's a real problem. Little outswinger from Harris Rauf after the big inning, and the same thing, swinging back late.
That one pitched outside the leg stump. I think another thing one should admire about Pakistani fast bowlers is the length they bowl. Yes, it swung, but you have to really put the ball in the right place, and that's what they did nicely.
Gautam Gambhir here as well. Gautam, I was personally a little surprised by Iftikhar being brought to the bowling crease, but you've got to give it to Babar Azam that he's made the right decisions. 3 bowlers tonight with a wicket in their first over, picking up the valuable wicket of Dhananjaya de Silva too.
I thought it was smart captaincy. Another one. Another bad shot. Why would you do that, Shanaka? Sri Lanka 5 down. Playing across the line, missing completely. Shadab Khan into the wickets column.
Russell Arnold mentioned that it's a little bit too early for Shanaka to come and bat. And he was right. There are too many overs to handle, especially when the Pakistani bowlers have got their tails up. Another beauty, nice and straight, looking to hit the stumps. And Shadab did it beautifully. Shanaka gone for 2, 58 for 5 now, Sri Lanka.
कोशिश के पहले हार मत। सामने कौन है सोच मत। सफलता की चाह रख, खेल जा। संग कोई चले या ना चले, अगर मंजिल तय है तो खेल जा। फेयर प्ले न्यूज, खेल जा। इन खेलों में भाग लेने के लिए कोई प्रवेश शुल्क नहीं है।
महंगाई की है खाए दिवाली नहीं आए दिवाली।
रियल मी लाया है 700 करोड़ के ऑफर्स। इस साल रियल में होगी दिवाली।
रियल में
दिवाली है, रियल में दिवाली है, रियल में दिवाली।
You're right. What was Shanaka thinking? I think he'll be hugely disappointed with the option he took. He has been throughout this tournament a man for a crisis. He has brought Sri Lanka home. He's been able to handle the pressure and play really intelligent cricket. But tonight, it's a bit of a mind explosion. Out of nowhere with his team in trouble, trying to take on Shudder. Work now for Naseem. That is a nice shot and will run away for 4. So off the mark straight away. 62 for 5.
सुन, इक्विटी में इन्वेस्ट कर, ग्रोथ का है चांस।
सुन, डेट में है लो रिस्क, बात मेरी मान।
अरे बेटा सुन, गोल्ड सिर्फ गोल्ड, भैया ने भी यही किया।
सुन, अब तू कंफ्यूज मत कर यार। अरे मतलब सुन सबकी कर मल्टी मतलब मल्टी एसेट एलोकेशन फंड्स, यानी 3-in-1 फंड। ये इक्विटी, डेट, गोल्ड तीनों में एक साथ इन्वेस्ट करें। म्यूचुअल फंड निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। योजना से जुड़े सभी दस्तावेज ध्यान पूर्वक पढ़ें।
So the left-hander still at the crease. Taking off straight away. They need someone a little quicker. They are happy to dab and go. Take the singles. And this was the shot from Chanaka.
Too early. Not needed. Chanaka. Tossed up delivery. Too full to play that shot. Missing it completely. And we've spoken about it, haven't we? That probably Sri Lanka hasn't batted in this competition first, apart from the first game they played against Afghanistan. They've been a very, very solid chasing side. In the last 4 overs, Sri Lanka has scored 27, lost 3 wickets. And that was one of the reasons why they could have actually batted first in the last game.
Just have a look at the bat here from Chanaka. It hits the ground and turns the face in. So he misses the ball, bang. And that's the reason why he missed the ball. Because of the way it just hits and turns and goes on the inside.
I reckon, Scotty, it was too full. That's the reason why he actually missed it.
Very good player against spin, Rajapaksa. Huge difference in his tournament. In pace versus spin, he averages 69 in the Asia Cup. Just 25 against the fast bowlers. A very good player of spin. Oh, close.
Iftikhar almost got another one. Ball quite quickly. This one didn't turn. Normally, there were few deliveries which turned. This one came quickly.
Run. Very well run.
It is so crucial, Gautam, you might tell us better, that the inner fielder, they have to really come closer. Don't give these cheap, easy singles.
That is what game sense is all about. Sri Lanka is 5 down for 67. Why would you want them to get these easy ones? Let them play those big shots. And the only way they will play those big shots if you start squeezing in the 30 yard.
Little bit of confusion. No damage done. Very good 10 overs from Pakistan in the Asia Cup final. 67 for 5.
Love problems? Then why not solve real business problems using data? Data science program from Scalar. Problem? No problem.
क्या करिए ब्रो? मूर्ति नहीं बनना है, फॉर्ट लगना है। सीधे सीधे बोलना करना। It's good. It's perfect.
Video calling that feels like being there in person. The all-new HP Pavilion. Now with 12 Gen Intel Core processors.
पिंटू बेटे, बेचारा कि भूल गया।
अरे याद आ गया, मैं चाह रहा हूँ मैं ड्रीम 11 पे टीम बनाना भूल गया था पम्मी आंटी।
भूल मत जाना ड्रीम 11 पे टीम बनाना. Make your team now.
इस खेल में आदत लगना या आर्थिक जोखिम संभव है. जिम्मेदारी से खेलें.
Being a parent means wanting your child to discover, create, and grow. Google Kids Space on Lenovo tabs lets your kids explore and engage with quality content. So, get a Lenovo tab and no more keeping tabs.
अहमियत इस बात की नहीं कि आप किन बुलंदियों पर हैं, बल्कि इस बात की है कि यहां पहुंचने का हौसला किससे मिला. देश की मिट्टी से. कजारिया देश की मिट्टी से बनी टाइल से देश को बनाते हैं.
विथ डिजिट्स कार इंश्योरेंस अगर आपकी कार चलती है कम तो प्रीमियम भी कम.
Hey, have you done the digit?
Problem? No problem. No business problem is big enough if you learn how to solve it using data. Data science program from Srikar.
आपसे नहीं हो पाएगा. चिक्की 1, यश 0.
स्कोर तो बराबर करना पड़ेगा.
The beautiful country of Sri Lanka, the scenery, the wildlife, a great tourist destination. Let's remind everybody they are the official hosts of this DP World Asia Cup 2022, even though the tournament itself is being held in the UAE. Shadab will continue. And a beautiful googly too. Highlighted the lack of partnerships that they've been able to put together. 21 being the best of them. Love to know too from you, Gautam. That is a great shot. Giving himself a little bit of room and over the offside. That's why he's so good against spin.
Babar is going to make sure that Sri Lankans don't get back in the game. So I feel, Gautam, that opportunity here for him to bring his pacers back. Keep bowling Shadab from one end and bring the pacers. Beautiful shot. He's such a good player, such a dangerous player. If he gets going, things will turn around very quickly.
Might look for another couple. Settle for one.
I agree with you completely. Got to bring your fast bowlers from one end. You've got Sri Lanka on the mat. You don't want to let them to breathe. And that is why, and anyways, you've used your fifth bowler. You've bowled 2 out of him. So you don't need to be under pressure of probably making the use of the fifth bowler. And what you just mentioned, they'll probably try and bowl one each from all the 3 seamers from one end.
That's a good shot for deep point. Another boundary.
A little bit of a counter-attack from the Sri Lankans. A couple of beautiful shots. One from Rajapaksha and this time is Hasaranga. It wasn't really short, but he stayed nice and low and made sure that the ball comes really close to him and picked the gap beautifully.
Beautiful timing there. Wasn't looking to hit the ball hard, just looked to time it. This is an expensive over till now.
It's been good cricket shots in this over too. I know that Rajapaksa made something happen by just shimmying to the leg side and going up and over point. But Hasaranga got the short wide delivery to cut away, and it's good that they're rotating the strike. Boundary, get off strike. Boundary, get off strike. It's excellent T20 batting. But these two need to do this for another probably 6 overs at least. Ten runs from the over, 77 for 5.
पिंटू बेटे पहचाना कि भूल गया.
अरे याद आ गया. मैं चाह रहा हूँ मैं ड्रीम 11 पे टीम बनाना भूल गया था पम्मी आंटी.
भूल मत जाना ड्रीम 11 पे टीम बनाना. Make your team now.
इस खेल में आदत लगना या आर्थिक जोखिम संभव है। जिम्मेदारी से खेलें।
महंगाई की है खाए दिवाली नहीं आए दिवाली।
रियल मी लाया है 700 करोड़ के ऑफर्स। इस साल रियल में होगी दिवाली। रियल में
रियल में
दिवाली है, रियल में दिवाली है, रियल में दिवाली।
Aren't as happy when they bat first. How much of that is what we've seen so far? Looking for two. That was the call straight away. Excellent fielding. How much of it is because we've seen some reckless shots, haven't we, from Pakistan or a couple of the batsmen? fanpulse.in/English. Which spinner has impressed you the most in the DP World Asia Cup?
And Scotty, we've spoken about this many times. That's why Pakistan had an advantage after winning the toss and putting Sri Lanka in. The only reason, because another slot sweep. Because when you have a total on board, you can actually plan your innings better. With this inexperienced side, because you haven't batted too much in this competition, especially setting the target, that's why they should have batted first in the previous game when it was a dead rubber.
Lots of good spinners on strike. And in this tournament, Shadab number one, according to all you out there, you can vote. That is a live poll.
And Scotty, another thing, because you've been able to chase 170, 180 consistently, sometimes when you bat first, you just feel that you have to get 180, 190.
Not timed. We've only got a couple of balls left, but maybe talk as well about, some people may think, well, what is the difference batting first or second? Surely it's the same.
It's just the way you plan your innings. It's just the tempo. It's just the tempo at which you want to plan your innings entirely.
Oh, nice. That is beautiful. They're starting to find the boundaries.
Pakistan's got to be proactive here. You don't want to just give it back to Sri Lankans. They're very much capable of coming back. 8 and over from here on, they'll get to 150. And I don't think from the situation where they are, they should allow Sri Lanka to get there.
Exactly what Sri Lanka needed. 8 runs from it. 12 gone. 85 for 5.
कोशिश के पहले हार मत। सामने कौन है सोच मत। सफलता की चाह रख, खेल जा। संग कोई चले या ना चले, अगर मंजिल तय है तो खेल जा। फेयर प्ले न्यूज। खेल जा। इन खेलों में भाग लेने के लिए कोई प्रवेश शुल्क नहीं है।
Wicket, the biggest wicket so far in the innings.
Got the wicket, and I think bowler like Srikar is only good for 1 or 2 overs, not 3 or 4. And I think this is the time, I was listening to Vakar, to bring the fast bowler back. You need a wicket here. Maybe 1 or 2 wickets you can go into a tail. And on this sort of wicket, chasing 130 can be a difficult ask. I know it's a very good pitch to bat on, but 150 would be easier for Pakistan to chase than 125 to 130.
Because of the decision making. You get caught in between whether you go hard or whether you take your time. And we've seen lots of teams find themselves in that no man's land. Well, Hasnain's into the attack. This will be interesting. I think it's the right move. You still have 6 overs of your faster bowlers. Interesting start. He's gone for a short ball. Worth having a look at this one.
Go digging into the past. Oh yes, that's Muri smacking it around. Oh dear, he scored. Pakistan, the winners in Dhaka. Was a tight game.
I seriously don't remember that game at all. Unbelievable. I think we're getting on a bit with age.
If you had played fewer games, Wasim, maybe you would have remembered, because Russell and me, we remember each and every match that we played for our country, right down to maybe every over. And having said that, I've seen Glenn McGrath, Tendulkar, great memory of what they did on the field. So this is the match we were talking about, Asia Cup Final 2000.
Yeah, Pakistan scoring 277, and I'm just reading the scorecard. And I think in reply, they were cruising at one stage. I mean, Atapattu got brilliant 100, and Russell was doing well on 41. Then played a rash shot, his favorite shot, sweep.
The only shot I knew. It was only the sweep that I could play.
And loose clothing, right, Russell? Very loose clothing. No long boundaries tonight, so you can get full value for your shots. 16 of 9, Wanindo Hasaranga can be a dangerous batter down the order.
Yeah, that's not a slog. That's a clever shot. Looking at the field, mid-off in the circle, the sweeper is very square. Hence, he's quietly giving himself room. Look at the shorthand jab. That's the jab I was referring to. Danushka Gunatilaka should use. Not the full swing against quicks like this.
This pace, he shouldn't be bowling full deliveries. I understand he wants to take a wicket, maybe a yorker. Length, change of pace. There's a fielder there. He's going to cut it. Great effort by Fakhar Zaman. But with his pace, just bowled short of a length. I mean, you can get hit for a couple of boundaries, fair enough. But at least you'll create a doubt in batsman's mind.
I get slightly troubled when I see people like Hasnain and Naseem Shah bowl slow balls, especially when the opposition 92 for 5. We saw Naseem Shah in the last game that he played first over bowled a couple of slow balls.
As well, he catches it this time, Fakhar Zaman.
I just hope Hasnain doesn't change his ways just because he's bowling in the second half of the innings. He doesn't need to do anything different. Sri Lanka is really on the mat at the moment.
Yeah, they recovered well. This partnership is 34 of 23 deliveries.
But the fact is, this is the partnership that's got to go deep. There's only Chamita Karunaratne to come if they want that 160 to give their bowlers a chance.
Great shot. Great shot once again using the pace of the bowler. Hasaranga has got a 6. 3 4s and a 6, and that 6 was the first 6 of the match.
Yeah, he went shorter, but he gave Hasaranga width. He's also giving himself room. The pace does the rest. Nicely played. Even the sweeper went straighter because of the previous 2 deliveries. So it's a free hit.
Yeah, 66 meters for the maximum. And that's where bowlers should follow the batsman, not give him room. Just follow him there. Better delivery. 14 runs from the over, 13 overs gone, 99 for 5.
सुन, इक्विटी में इन्वेस्ट कर, ग्रोथ का है चांस. सुन, नेट में है लो रिस्क, बात मेरी मान.
अरे बेटा सुन, गोल्ड सिर्फ गोल्ड. भैया ने भी यही किया.
सुन, अब तू कंफ्यूज मत कर यार. अरे मतलब सुन, सबकी कर मल्टी मतलब मल्टी एसेट एलोकेशन फंड्स, यानी 3-in-1 फंड. ये इक्विटी, डेट, गोल्ड तीनों में एक साथ इन्वेस्ट करें. म्यूचुअल फंड निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है. योजना से जुड़े सभी दस्तावेज ध्यानपूर्वक पढ़ें.
महंगाई की है खाए दिवाली नहीं आए दिवाली.
रियल मी लाया है 700 करोड़ के ऑफर्स. इस साल रियल में होगी दिवाली. रियल में
दिवाली है, रियल में दिवाली. In his spell, that's his last over.
So as expected, the car has been given a break. Surprised that Mohammad Nawaz yet not bowled 100 thumbs up for Sri Lanka. Couple of reasons for that, Russell. You would think because of the presence of Rajapaksha, the left-hander, and also he doesn't have the long boundary on the leg side to bowl Mohammad Nawaz from.
Yeah, that's the reason. Rajapaksa's strength, he's got good wrists, he'll take the spinners on. Shadab though, bowling beautifully with his variations. He's always a tough nut on any conditions.
But my question is that the right ploy in this day and age? That's the mindset of the people. Look at this, straight. Couple of bounces into the fence. He's looking really good, Rajapaksha. What a player he is.
Clean as a whistle.
I like how he's played today. He's not gone from the first ball. There were wickets falling. He's gradually picking it up. Rajapaksa. Well, if he's there till about the 18th, that'll be a good score on the board, that's for sure.
He's picking up googlies. That's why Shadab is under pressure. Close call. They'll go up. They'll go up. Skipper is not looking happy.
Because there was an opportunity. They needed a good throw. Hasaranga was slow to take off. Partnership 46 off 27. Got the dive out, Hasaranga.
Okay, satisfied, grounded, satisfied, decision.
Everything was in.
Yeah, you also would have noticed the bat bouncing nowadays. The moment it crosses the line, it bounces after, goes in the batsman's favour. It's no doubt at all well in.
Coming back to that point, that left arm spin bowler not bowling to the left arm, sometimes your strength can be your weakness. I understand Rajapaksha is one of the best players in this format, but again, he probably hit you to 6 or 2, maybe he'll get wicket. Nawaz is a very experienced campaigner.
Yes, Wasim, you raise a good point because they've got 3 overs out of Iftikhar. Maybe thinking that let's not bowl Nawaz too much, but then you're keeping a guy who's had a brilliant tournament with the ball out of the attack just because you're preempting. So it's a preemptive measure. Maybe next over they'll have to go to him. I don't think they'll go back to Iftikhar. There he is. Last ball of Shadab spell, 1 for 28 so far for him. Great news of Pakistan. No signs of the injury that he sustained and kept him out. In the last game, he's recovered. Seems to have recovered fully.
Yeah, that's incredible because I thought he probably will struggle to play the final. So well done, Shadab.
Seven runs from the over, 106 for 5.
Alisha, breakups होते रहते हैं. It's not him. It's the laptop screen. तू laptop से breakup कर दे. Try HP Pavilion.
With iSafe certified display. Now with 12 Gen Intel Core processors and Alexa built in.